process it and do it all at once. It's like one giant lump sum being thrown upon their shoulders. And having this freedom that they so call it, when you're not having to answer to anybody, you're not having to be in at a certain time at night, you can do with whatever money you get to do with whatever you want to do with it, pretty much. And all of a sudden, this responsibility is thrust upon you, and it's a lot heavier of a burden for a lot of people to be able to stand up to. And it just freaks them out, basically. So they go right back to doing whatever they want to do. So I think there needs to be, more individual type of programs out there.
And I wanted to add that my roommate, I think I told you guys, my roommate is a manager for a homeless shelter. And so she said something that I thought was really good. And she kind of uses a different philosophy than most of the shelters in San Diego. Because like you're saying, most of the shelters in San Diego, they have very strict rules. And you break one and you're out. Like you don't get a second chance. So you come back a half hour past curfew, oops, there's like waiting lists. So you can go, who's ever on the waiting list, they want to be here more than you do. So a lot of shelters kind of have that mentality. And so what she said is her suggestion would be, instead of getting angry and kicking clients out when they're trying to take the easy way out, or if they're trying to find ways to not work or get free money, instead you need to have a conversation with them about why. So why were you late, or why are you being lazy, or whatever it is that the worker's assuming. Because she's saying that if you're in a program and you get kicked out, you feel like you're being screwed over. And so if you're being screwed over, and it's like the system's cheating you, so then you're going to cheat the system. So it's like if the system keeps failing you, then why are you going to try to meet their demands? So I thought that was pretty relevant.
Oh yeah. They make it hard. When I was staying at St. Vincent de Paul my very first time there, I had gotten a job temporarily at Target. I was a cashier. And they make it so hard for you to still hold a job, which is what you're trying to get in the shelter to begin with to do. And you have to jump through a lot of hoops and a lot of red tape to get what they call a curfew waiver, so you can be out past the bed check time in case you work a job and everything there. And they want you to see a counselor every week. And the lady that I was talking to, as far as my counselor, told me that the job I was doing and stuff like that was not a steady job. And I needed to find some other type of work where I can make more money and have steady hours. So that's the type of help that sometimes, they're overstressed and everything too. Believe me, they handle a lot of caseloads and things. So I think sometimes there may need to be a little bit of more of a need for some fresh faces in there, ones that aren't already burned out or maybe stressed out on the job already so much, and that they can deal with the small little problems that they may have to hear every single day, but from different people. So maybe, a few fresh faces in there and things, and things might get a little bit better.
We're going to kind of switch to the next part. But Rufus, I didn't know if this would fall into the next part. We're talking about more like strength. But I know for you, like a program was very beneficial, and so I don't want to just give voice to saying that all programs have all these flaws, because there's also good things that come from them too. So I didn't know if you wanted maybe like how the program was motivational or like provided strength for you.
Well, I'm a veteran, and I agree with you, Marvin, that programs are very stressful. I don't care how it acts, but this program I was in, it was I got a lot of strength from. Again, I'll go back. Like I say, I'm an alcoholic. I was at BBSD. I went through the alcohol and drug program out at La Jolla at BBSD, the VA hospital. And there, I remember when I'm just getting sober, and then there, we have to be in a class, and we had to go around and tell each one how we're feeling and what is this. And we had a little homework we had to do, and it was just getting to me. And finally, they asked me, they said, "Rufus, I'm sure you have something to say." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You did right, I got something to say." I said, "I don't want to be here at this damn place. I don't like this damn hospital, and I don't like this damn homework I'm having to do." I was starting shaking, and the nurse, she stepped up and she said, "Okay, Rufus, just calm down." She took me to the side, took me out in her office, and sat me down and talked to me. And she said, "Just calm down, Rufus. Don't let all this worry you. Should don't even worry about the homework and stuff like that." And then, again, I had my therapist, and when I got to BBSD, I'm still stressing out this thing. I don't know what's going on. I'm just getting sober. My mind don't even work. And then my counselor there, he called me into his office and he sat me down and he said, I want to tell you a little bit about me. And he told me then, I'm the type of person that's like, just say for instance, Amanda, if you fall down and you break your leg, right? And then the professor over there, she said, well, I know just exactly how you feel. He said, well, have you ever broke your leg? And she said, no. Well, you don't know how I feel. Okay, that's the type of person I am. Don't tell me you know how I feel unless this has happened to you. Okay, but I go in, and my counselor, he's an alcoholic. And he tells me, he says, Rufus, I used to drive a big truck. He said, I would drive 500 or 600 miles an hour, a day, 8, 9 hours a day. And he said, I'd wake up in my sleeper, or wake up in the motel room. He said, I wouldn't remember a damn thing about driving. He said, I'd be in a total blackout. Now, I used to do that. I used to drive from the beach to my hometown, about 200 miles. I would wake up in my car in the morning and wouldn't remember anything. So then I got a feeling, okay, this guy knows what it's about. He's been there and done that. So then I got to trust him, and then he would tell me, he'd say, Rufus, as long as you're doing what you're doing, he said, you got to do what you're supposed to do, what they asked of you to do. He said, as long as you're doing what you're doing, he said, my door's open 24/7. So I got strength from those people there. And I just, and it seemed like I just couldn't give up, you know. I just wasn't going to give up. I wanted something, and I was going to work to get it. And it was really good.
What was it that you wanted?
I wanted to see. I've been homeless. I lived in. I'm homeless in San Diego and the Mesa area for 11 years. Before that, I lived about 2 years downtown San Diego homeless. Before that, I was homeless in around Nashville, Tennessee, Louisville, Kentucky for about 3 more years. And when we sat down, my therapist sat down and he with me and he said, my counselor, and he said, let's set some goals, long-term goals, short-term goals, long-term goals. And I told him, I said, well, I know, I'll tell you right now what my long-term goal is. I said, I want my damn own place to stay. I said, it's been over 20 years since I had my own apartment. And that's what I told him. I wanted my long-term goal. And so we set that up. And, you know, I got to trust in Jim, and he would stand up for me. But again, you know, like you said, Marvin, you have to want it. And I wanted it, and I was willing to, like, and I still say that, you got to jump through some hoops. I used to have to bite my tongue a lot of times. And I know when I was on a 90-day restriction, there was a little market right across the street, and I'm 47 years old, and they're telling me, hey, you can't go there. I mean, what are you talking about? I'm 47 years old, and I can't walk across the street? No, you have to have a chaperone. But it's tough, but it worked for me. It worked for me.
So I know we spoke about kind of building bonds with people. So who are some of the people that both of you guys can rely on, and what makes you feel supported and encouraged by them?
Well, bonding is all human nature and everything there. Just like we like certain foods that we eat, just like we like certain music that we listen to, or we like certain programs on TV that we watch. You know, we get along with other human beings by something that we find in them that either is mutual to ourselves, that we find interesting, you know, or sometimes it's like the odd couple. You know, you have one guy that doesn't get along with the other guy a little bit, but they still do and everything. And that's the same type of groupings that you find out here in the homeless, you know, area and stuff there. I remember when I first got out there, you know, you don't know who to trust. You know, you're out there for the first time, you don't know what's going on and stuff there. But yet, for some reason, you'll walk up to somebody and ask them, you'll ask them a question. And I've come to find out a lot of times, homeless don't want to give out their little tips on where they go and get everything and stuff like that. They like to keep these things a little bit secret. They said, well, nobody told me. You need to find out the best way like I had to do and blah, blah, blah. It's like a little ritual passing and stuff like that. But the groups that we set up, we trust and everything there. We trust with the people that we're hanging out with, that they're going to watch our stuff if we're not there. Just like I have a friend where I camp with that's watching my car with my belongings there tonight because I trust the person. I've known him for a few years and everything like that. And if you don't have those type of things, then it becomes a little bit more scary and stuff like that. So you naturally hook up with friends, you know, and that's what gets you through. That's who you hang out with. That's, you can watch each other's backs and things like that, you know, when things come out there. So those little type of groups, and you'd be amazed at